So I wanted to talk about dress like the life that you want. A lot of times, and you guys know I did a video last week on what did I talk about? Yes, the bonnet is the devil, because I can't stand them bonnets, y'all. And I have a good friend that's real bougie, and she said, oh no, I must have my bonnet. And I was like, oh my gosh, you wear that around the house? She was like, yeah, I wear it around the house, and but she said I would never leave the house with a bonnet on my head. And I was like, okay, you get a pass. She can remain my friend. But at the same time, this girl, when she comes out of her house, she steps out, she looks the part, right? And so this video is talking about dressing like the life that you want. And this is definitely to my sisters, my women, right? So a lot of times, we may be having situations. This is going to be a short video. We may have situations or go through things in our life, right? Which is called life. Life be lifing. Oftentimes, I always talk about the fact, like, I never thought that my life would be where it is today, right? Like, man, because when you're in high school and you graduate, you're like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm going to be traveling here. But you forget about all of the bumps in the road, right? We forget about life, about falling in love, about going to school, about death, people dying, about illnesses that you never thought you would have, about relationships that you thought you would always have that didn't happen. So your life changes, right before your eyes. I had a good ex of mine that said your life can change in seconds. And I used to be like, what does that mean? Until my life, it happened, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now, right? And so the reason why I'm talking about that is the fact that a lot of times when we are going through different things in our life, right, we tend to look like what we're going through. Like, child, you know how it is when you see somebody, you say, child, I saw her, honey, she was looking rough, right? I always tell y'all the story about the time I was in Walmart like 2 a.m. That's when Walmart started doing 24 hours. And I was in Walmart and I needed a relaxer. And my hair, y'all, when I tell you I put a hat on and you could see it, it would just look bad. And I went to the store like 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what made, but I needed a relaxer because I had an event that I was going to the next day. So I went in there to get a relaxer, and I saw some of my classmates, and they was like, hey girl. I was like, hey. Child looked a hot mess. All right. I wasn't in beauty school at this time. So I always like to dress nice, but that particular day, I don't know what was going on with me, but it was 2 a.m. I'm like, who's going to be in the Walmart at 2 a.m.? Everybody in Miami. So long story short, a couple of weeks go by, and I see my friend like, girl, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, what's going on? She's like, girl, child, they said they saw you at the store and you was looking bad. They didn't know if you was in an abusive relationship or what, but you was looking bad. And I was mad. I'm like, all they had to do was ask me. I'm like, girl, I'm just running in here like I can explain myself. But then people don't care about your excuse, and they wouldn't have believed it anyway. Because the simple fact was, I the one that represented myself like that. I represented my household, my children. I did that. So once you decide to step out that door looking crazy, that's nobody's business but your own. You made that decision, right? But then when I thought about why they thought that I was going through something, at the time I had just lost my daughter, my first daughter. My daughter, I think I did it. I've done a lot of videos on my daughter. She died of trisomy 18. And so she died at 8 months old. I was 20. How old was I? 21, 22 when it happened. And then I ended up pregnant again, right, with my daughter, Janice. And so I was dealing with postpartum and didn't really realize it. So I was dealing with the postpartum and I was dressing like I was looking. My excuse was, I'm just running to the store so I can get me a relaxer to do my hair. But really, I was depressed. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I have my life, I could write a book on my life from a kid till now. And I had went through a lot of traumas and I just didn't realize it. Because a lot of times when it comes to women, we take it with a grain of salt. In our culture, a lot of us go through traumas and never get the help needed. We don't go get any therapy. We just take it on. But what happens is it shows up in your relationships. That's why you never can have a long-standing relationship. That's why you're always having problems on your job with people. You're always fighting and arguing because you never really deal with it, right? You never really deal with the trauma. And then you go to churches that say, oh, you can lay up on that chair. Some of you leaders need to lay up on the chair and talk to somebody, because even in your leadership as pastors and leaders and whatnot, it comes out towards the congregation and you don't even realize it, because we've all went through some things in our life, and it's okay to be able to say it and to be able to deal with it. That's why we have so many broken men, right? And we've have so many broken men today in 2025, and we have so many women today in 2005 that are broken, and we have hundreds, if not millions, of children, because they're coming from broken homes or a broken mother or a broken father, and they've seen trauma in their life, and guess what? It's here now. But it doesn't give us an excuse. Y'all know I never let us just live with that. Like, no. It doesn't give us an excuse, because of the simple fact that I have so many of my friends today that have come from the same places, but at the same time, they didn't let that discourage them from going after their dreams and from doing the things that they wanted to do, right? And so, I talk to my friends all the time, and I'm like, well, what pushed you to do that? What, and they like, girl, I had to, what was I going to do? Lay and be the same way that my mother had went through? I was going to do the same. I was going to be with the same type of person. I was going to become the same type of person, or was I going to be better? Just because I grew up in the hood and the projects don't mean I have to stay in that mentality in the hood and the projects. Or I grew up on food stamps, or I grew up on welfare, or I grew up in Section 8, whatever the things may be, or I grew up and watched my father beat my mother. Whatever the things are, we don't have to. And I think a lot of times we say to people, because this happened to you, that's why you can live like that. That's why you can get on drugs, and that's why we can get on drugs. That's why we can drink ourselves to misery for years and years and years and never deal with it. Or we can get into relationships and be abusive because we don't have to deal with it. You have an excuse. It was your childhood. It was your father. It was all these different things. Or, right? So we give people the excuses to do that instead of challenging them. And we can't help everybody, because the Bible say the poor will be amongst us always, right? That's talking about poor in spirit, mind, right? But I'm saying all of this to say is that we have all the excuses of why we can't show up and why we can't be who we can be. But what if we took those excuses and took all of the reasons why we should be able to? Man, if I went through this, who could I be? Or, child, that ain't nothing. This here, what I'm going through now, this ain't nothing. You should see what I went through and how God got me out of that, right? It should be that mindset. We should dress the way we want to live. We should carry ourselves the way we should want to live. The only way we can dress ourselves the way we want to live is that the mindset first has to shift over and be changed. And so when we step out, when I talk about the bonnet, we definitely would never put a bonnet on our head, because now we understand I went through some stuff, but I'm a diamond in the rough. There was some things that came against me that could have stopped my whole life. And then my children wouldn't be able to see the successful person that I am, even if I'm a great mother. They wouldn't have been able to see that if I would have held on to all of the things that happened in my life and why I don't deserve the life that I want to have, right? So I'm saying all this to you so that you can understand, if you want a life where you're saying, hey, I want to be happy. I want to, maybe I want to travel. I don't have the money to travel. You know what I mean? Honey, you'll be amazed at the things that you can do in the meantime. You may not can travel there, but if you got a car, or if you have city transportation, like Miami has a lot of transportation. We got the jitney, we got the metro bus, we got all these different transportation. Jump on the bus and go somewhere. That's your travel for now. And when you go there, dress like you're a tourist. Like you're a tourist, right? Enjoy it. If you don't have the money, make you some food. Take it with you. Make you a sandwich with it. Take it with you. Go to that place, whether it's a museum, to look at the arts. There's so many places in your community that you can do that with. So you got to dress like it. And before you know it, you start attracting who you are, right? So if you are a person that says, you know what, honey, I want to be married. I want to have some children. I want to finish college, but I want to be married. I want to have some children, and I want to still be in my career. Then do it. We have to start. Once we believe, it's going to manifest in the way you carry yourself, in the way you look, the way you dress, the way you speak. It's going to manifest itself. It can't and that's how we know when we're taking care of one without the other, and it never works, because we see a lot of women on social media, on TV, where they look fabulous. They're wearing whatever they're wearing now, Hermes and Chanel and all these different things. They look great, but we don't talk about the things that they had to do to look that part. Some stuff they done sold their souls with to look a part. But inside, they are suffering. They are living a life that they're not happy with. So they may look the part, but eventually, over time, that inside going to spew out. It's going to spew out through your communication. It's going to spew out through your behavior. It's going to spew out through maybe you get hooked onto some type of substance abuse. It's going to spew out. It's going to spew out in your children. Your children going to grow up and start telling you what they didn't like and how you failed them. It's going to show up in your relationships, right? So we cannot dress the part that we want to do every day if we don't take care of inside. So you're going to always hear me talk about that. But it's okay. Like, I laid around the house today. It's a Saturday. I said, let me do some videos. Give me an excuse to put on a nice little dress. It's summery. I feel like something flowy today. So when I finish here, I'm probably going to go take a nice walk, a stroll. And I feel good. I feel great. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. Eventually, when people start seeing you take care of yourself, then you start attracting, and they want to come and they want to take care of you. They want to help. They want to love on you too, because they see you loving yourself. So learning to upgrade yourself every day. It's not a choice. It should be second nature to you. When you wake up in the morning, you give God the thanks, you write your gratitude, you read your 4 chapters, and then you should be saying, what can I do to thank God for him giving me another day on this earth? Well, the first thing I need to do is take care of my temple, whether that means exercise, that means reading a self-help book, right? That means getting therapy. If you need therapy, better help. Whatever those things look like to you, you should have something set up in that way so you can be able to do the things that you need to do to be a better person, especially to my women. I want to tell you something. Somebody said something to me. I said, oh my God, that is so true. The craziest thing that I have seen is, and we've seen it every day of our lives, is that you will see, let's say, take a mother and a family of 4. She has 2 kids and a husband. The husband decked out, the children decked out, and she look a hot mess. But she takes pride in the fact that her family looks good, but she doesn't take pride in how she looks. Every day is an excuse why she looks the way she do. I got to get the kids off to school. I got to get the kids ready for school. By the time those kids, and I'm telling you something, if you find a child, or even your husbands, right, or your significant others that appreciate that, thank God for that. Because a lot of times people don't appreciate that because they feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do. That's your role. So nobody's going to appreciate that. So if you're doing, which is nothing wrong with doing what you're supposed to do, right, as the role that you decided in your marriage, in your relationship, you both say, hey, I need you to take care of kids, this, and that. If you agree to that, then that's your role. All right. So I don't need anybody coming on here that's not every woman role. I know some of us are not married. I get it. But whatever that role is, if you're taking care of everybody else every day and you're not taking care of yourself, baby, you are barking up the wrong tree. You're going to have it real rough. There's going to be a burnout somewhere eventually. And the reason why you know that the people don't appreciate you and all that you do, because somebody should say, Mama, please go to a spa. Ma, please get you some clothes. Honey, I appreciate everything you do. Here's the card. Go take care of yourself. If you're not hearing that, you know why? Because that's what you're supposed to do in their mind. And they done got used to it. You ever been around people, and you know we got family like this that's always in need, and we always there to give it to them. And then after a while we feel used, and then they get an attitude when you say, hey, I'm not giving anymore, and they got an attitude because you always gave before. It's because the appreciation has turned to you're supposed to. And when you get in a relationships where the relationship has turned that way, that's where the faucet needs to turn off. The boundaries are set, and let the chips lie where they may. But these are different examples that you can do to take care of yourself every day. Every day should be a self-love day. It's not just one day. Even when you're going to work in the morning, that's a self-love day. You woke up. You got another chance to get it right in this world. So I'm speaking to my women, and I'm saying to you, here are some ways to live the life that you want to live. I'm going to speak it in so many different ways. I'm saying the same thing basically, is how to self-love yourself. Okay? I pray that this video helps you tell your story on how you realized that you wasn't taking care of yourself and how you wasn't appreciated in the things you did. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next video.